Hello, my Sagittarians. How you doing? You sun, moon, rising collective that you are. Welcome to your What Do I Need reading. If you are new to my channel, these readings are not about, where you are on the path of true love. Those are the path of true love reads. Go check the playlist. This is not about your twin flame relationships. There's a playlist for that too. This is a reading about what you need. Now, I know a lot of us, we in the divination biz, I'm, by the way, your reader, Mark A. Lyons, Mel for short, professional witch and professional intuitive, and I myself pretty much every day pull at least one card from a couple of decks, not to see where I am or how I'm doing or what he's doing or what that project is doing or what they're thinking. That's later. When I pull the card a day thing, it's really, I've learned to just say, what do I need, right? You got to go with a little humility sometimes. I go, I have no idea what I need today. What do I need? And it gives you little coordinate points. So we're doing this for this full moon to new moon next for each sign. It's your turn, Sagittarius. So we're looking at the waning moon, right? From full to new is waning moon. And just know those 3 days before new moon are dark of the moon. It's really the low point of the cycle. It's sort of the death. It is the death before rebirth in the lunar cycle. So a good time for letting go. So I don't know if that theme will show up in these readings. Some of them they have, some of them they haven't. But let's have a look-see, shall we? Blessed all the decks right before I hit record. Felt really good, felt really light, but let's see. All the decks that I'm using are in the description box below, as well as information if you would like a personal reading. I am available for personal readings. If you're on Facebook, we do Facebook Messenger readings just like this. If not, I have Skype. If not, I can use a telephone. And if you're local to Long Island, I make house calls sometimes. And if I know you, come to the house. I just had a 2-hour client yesterday here at the house. It was lovely. I love what I do. So let's dive in. We're going to start with the Caroline Myss archetype deck to get you your dominant archetype for full moon to new moon next. What soul power you are alchemizing from lead to gold. So let's ask the collective. Here we go. My collective pantheon of angels, gods, and masters, please, what is the archetype that this Sagittarius collective sun, moon, rising sign, this full moon to new moon next, is developing? What's the soul power they're alchemizing from lead to gold? Top card. Ooh, the Seeker. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect for Sagittarian. Perfect for the Archer, the Seeker. That is the Wisdom family of archetypes. We will have a look at that once one card from each of the 5 decks has been drawn, because there's writing on that card, and I know if I read it now, I will tangent, so trying to stay on track. Here are my last reading for the day. I'm doing 3 of these a day until full moon, just to get them out on time and not burn myself out, right? Oh, by the way, this full moon is Sun in Virgo, moon in Pisces, the full moon that I was born on. I am a Virgo with a Pisces moon. So Friday night, I am going to be recording the part 2, the 2nd episode of Drunk Tarot, Metallica Mom. I'm reading Metallica Mom, my Virgo sister, Andrea Santoro. If you follow her on social media, she's one of my favorite people. So this is like a little party gift for both of us. My birthday was last Friday. So, and my past life son is actually crashed out on the couch right now. He's going to be our bartender. He took the day off for it. Fun, right, Sag? Yeah. I don't know how many of these drunk tarots I'm going to do, but they're a field day setting up. So back to you. Enough about me. What do you think about me? My angels, please. One card. What do they need? What does the Sagittarius collective sun, moon, rising sign need for this full moon to new moon next? What do they need? Oh, children. Now that doesn't necessarily mean you need children, but that there's something about the child archetype there. There's something about the inner child there. Now, if I tune to that right now, again, I will tangent for hours. And though this is not a quickie read, if you look at some of the readings I do, I try and do like the quickie ones like you see on YouTube, like the 10, 15-minute ones. But, you know, my pantheons told me, it's like, go for it on this one. I'm like, okay. So here I am. How did I get as far as I got? I do what they tell me. Servant of the gods that I am. So speaking of the gods, my gods, Zeus in particular, my all-father, my king, who sits alone in the throne of Sagittarius, please Give us one card, a clue, a tip, a hint. What is it that your Sagittarian collective sun, moon, rising signs need? What do they need? This full moon to new moon next. There it is. Ooh, ooh, the strength card. So you need strength, but you know, this isn't the kind of strength where you pick up the coffee table and throw it across the room, right? That's Italian tarot. Kidding, I'm a quarter Sicilian. I'm allowed to make that joke. Kind of true. Yeah, we'll tune into that well, but you got a really cool spread so far. And like I said, something about this feels fun, but then again, we have the Chuck's Pisano Love Pack, which we know are just well halfway chock full with problem cards, what I call the womp womp cards, very Debbie Downer. Womp, 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 womp. But, you know, it's important to know what the issues are, right? Something to work on, right? Something to hunt for, something to endure. So, my masters, please give us a card here. What does this Sagittarian collective sun, moon, rising sign need to look at, need to address, need to embrace for this full moon to new moon next September 2019? This keeps getting better. Naughtiness, you naughty little boy or girl, you naughty child, naughty. Very Courage, the Cowardly Dog, naughty. Yeah, even just touching these cards, I can feel that maybe what you need is a good time. Maybe what you need is to yuck it up. But I'm doing more than this first line of cards. I'm going to clarify with the decks as well. So there's plenty of room for womp-womps, plenty of room for you to look at what is in store for you this waning moon. Because so far for a waning moon, this feels really good. So let's get a whisper of love here, please. My collective pantheon of angels, gods, and masters, please. A whisper of love for this Sagittarian collective sun, moon, rising sign. For this full moon to new moon next, what do they need? Top card again. Listen with your heart. You are listening to what is being said to you, but you need to listen with a loving heart. Not the easiest thing in the world to do, is it? Listen with your heart. Now, certainly that indicates in the picture there, oh, look, she's holding a seashell to her ear. Isn't that pretty? She's like, I'm sorry, I can't listen to you with my heart. I only hear the ocean, which is really the blood rushing through the veins in my internal ear. Raised by a teacher. So there is really something there about listening with your heart, but I'm kind of getting here that that's not just to another person. Like, this is in general. This is even when you're watching the news, like if you can listen with an open heart, because that's really something about the seeker. So let's go into this. Now, if you look, the card itself is somebody, you know, kind of like a pilgrim, just kind of looking around, looking for something, seeking something. So every archetype is light and shadow. So the light attribute, the goal that you're shooting for, a thirst for wisdom and truth wherever they are, right? So someone can seek for truth and not move a muscle, right? It's so funny, our phones, we have access to all of these search engines. It's like carrying around the Alexandrian libraries in your pocket. So a search for wisdom is different than a search for knowledge. Wisdom comes from experience, but certainly you would have to cross deserts to get the information that now you can get by asking your phone. And I'm not going to say what I would say because my phone will click on and start talking to me. And this is a solo act today. Just for today, let this be a solo act. The shadow attribute, and this is the lead that you're going to alchemize into gold. Remember when I pulled the card, the soul power that you are alchemizing from lead to gold over this waning moon. Inability to commit to a path once found. Oh, Sagittarians, never. Are you kidding? You're ruled by Jupiter. Done, on to the next one. Yeah, I just gave you some growl there. He's the sexiest man on planet Earth. So here we've got this seeker card with this child. Now, look, it's too easy to go literal in that you're seeking to have a child, right? Or you're looking for a child. In terms of what you need, this is about the innocence of the child archetype. That if the child archetype, the child within us all, the child, even though the child archetype is in that archetype deck, this is the hit that I'm getting. That child wants to explore, but it's got to feel safe, right? That the child is the guardian of safety and innocence, right? So, and of course you have the wounded child, the magical child, the orphan child, the nature child, the eternal child. I mean, there are all these sub-archetypes, but I think all in all, just to really, as I'm feeling this, just know that there's a child in you that wants experience. It wants to get out there. It wants to feel things. Doesn't matter what age you are. Everybody has the child inside of them. I'm learning to see my ego as the child within me that remembers everything, right? Like a kid sort of will, like every slight, every bully on the playground, every mean teacher, every bad experience, even up through adolescence, right? Until we're adults, that to let that child know that it's safe, that you're there and that you're going to guard it, like you're the guardian angel of that child. Just a big part of my, not just spiritual path, but my healing path right now. And you don't think that affects your relationships? Totally affects all of your relationships on all different levels, not just romantic. You've got familial, you've got friends, you've got work stuff, relationship with your body. So that thing of seeking, so whatever it is that you're seeking for, you can do this with open-eyed innocence and safety. And here's where you got the card of strength, right? So the strength card is about courage, right? It's about not just protecting your heart, but following the strength of the soul to call upon a strength beyond this world, to call upon a love beyond this world. And what I mean by that is the strength of the soul, right? That the soul be your guide. The seeker isn't just curious. It's like there is in its light a thirst for wisdom, and knowledge is not wisdom. Knowledge plus experience equals wisdom. So wants to get out there, wants to experience things. So this ain't necessarily book learning, right? It's book learning if you're going to apply it. Like you can read every cookbook on earth, but can you scramble an egg, honey? And once you scramble an egg, can you make an omelet? And then can you make a frittata? I can. Why? My mother taught me. That's a wisdom. I don't even need a recipe for that no more. I love frittatas, really. Leftover quiche without a crust. So I just feel that the strength that you have to give this child. And so what do you need? You need to empower that child inside of you, right? To say, honey, it's okay. Like I talk to my inner child. I do all the time, all day long, particularly when it starts to get stressed or worried or afraid. I go, it's okay, honey. It's okay to feel afraid. I'm here. What are you afraid of? Because, you know, sometimes an emotion just comes out of nowhere. And it's like, oh, what are you afraid of, sweetheart? It's a little weird in public. You know, pretend to make a phone call. Well, you okay, sweetheart? What's going on? What can I do for you? And to give that love, because when you look at the child inside of you from that perspective, you are really mirroring, if not directly coming from your higher self, that your higher self's perception, that the higher self sees us all as children. The divine sees us as children growing, like in Earth School, right? We're all in different places in the curriculum, but we're all going to graduate eventually. So to take heart, right? To love this child and say, we can do this. We have what? Courage, right? Courage. The word, it's a French word, comes from the word heart in French, the cœur, le cœur, right? So that's very, very powerful. But then, though that may at some point feel dry, you got the card of naughtiness. You got a naughty child going on here. What is it you want to get out there and do, right? What do you want to do? Dine and dash? What do you want to do? Because remember that child archetype. It can be the adolescent. It can be the teenager. That there's something out there that, and this is something that you need. This is not a, you know, a what do I want reading. That's easy enough to do because our wants change with the wind, right? Or I should say with the fire, element of fire. But with that naughtiness, it just feels so funny. So it feels good. But of course, then what is the whisper of love? Listen with your heart. That this is not listen to, let's say, other parts of the body. Sagittarius, watch where you launch your arrows and who you're launching them at. Let that child be innocent. Let that child be play. So what I'm getting here is this thing, because this is what I do in bookstores. Yes, they still exist, bookstores. You should check them out. Where I'll totally go to the section, which is usually what, the metaphysical, spiritual, occult, whatever. Oh my God, and if they have a display of tarot decks, if other readers are watching this, you know what I mean. And which one? Kid in a candy store, right? Well, kid in a candy store, there we go. So I'll take a breath and I'll tune in and I'll go, okay, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Listen to your heart. Because the mind can talk you into or out of anything. And it's not coming from an emotional place. It's coming from a place of listen to that child inside, go, ooh, ooh, right? Almost nonverbal. Ooh. And then take a step. You don't got to buy the farm, right? Take a look. And but that naughtiness part of it, whatever is coming on your path for this waning moon, again, we're going to clarify these with other cards, but so far that's a great first line of energy. It can be really, really fun with that naughty and with that child, but that child's got to feel protected and safe as it goes. So what does that mean? As the guardian of your child, you're going to have certain boundaries. Yeah. Boundaries, I don't care where the moon is, and waxing or waning or any of that, boundaries are necessary in this world, but to understand that there's a toxic way of setting boundaries too that lock people and things and wisdom and experience out. It's because they are, you could say, lead boundaries. Energy can't pass through them, fear-based, right? That this is about nurturing this child, this seeking child within you. Really good read. So we're going to pull to clarify this child, right? Give us a card for this, my gods, from the Daughters of the Moon Tarot, please. One card. Please clarify this children archetype here for this Sagittarius Sun, Moon, Rising Sun for this full moon, new moon. Next. Well, sure enough, we've got the Cancerian card. That there's some emotion here. There's some intuition here. There's definitely the emotional stuff that might have to be released and let go, but we also know that what is sign of Cancer, 4th house? The mother of the zodiac. So there's a need there to not just guide and guard this child, but to mother it. That some of the experience, what you need here to get the experience, the wisdom that you want as the seeker, is emotional. So the fears that this child has, perhaps of, well, what if I'm not ready for it? It's like, well, okay, that's okay to feel that way, but how about we just like research it? Like, let's Google it. Let's take a little sip, okay, right? And you can feel that ease up and relax. You cannot speak to the inner child in spiritual, metaphysical, or psychological language, particularly if it's like a 5-year-old inside of you. Go say, it's okay, baby, I'm here. We don't have to do it right now, but let's do a little look-see, right? Just like that, and you'll notice that your body actually relaxes. And I have learned the only way for me to really know if I'm in alignment with my source at this point is, am I relaxed or am I, tense and stressed? So let's get one of these Chuck Spezzano love cards to even clarify that, which that makes sense. This really feels like inner child work. That would be something you might want to look into. Go to John Bradshaw, Homecoming, that's from the 80s. There's all sorts of modalities for it and ways of doing it, to path working and hypnosis and creative visualization. But I'm not even going to tell you where else to look, because that's part of the secret. It's like, ooh, let's start with a Google search, right? All right, my masters, please, one card of clarity for this angel card of children, clarified by the tarot card of the Mother of Cups, Cancer, the Cancer inside the home, the mother, please. What do they need? Oh, a letting go. So we're talking about a letting go of emotional child stuff, right? Now, the arc of the child archetype from lead to gold is childish to childlike, right? Pee Wee Herman, Dalai Lama, right? That's my version of that scale from lead to gold. Not that Paul Rubens is lead. I love Paul Rubens. I love Pee Wee. But you know the character, right? Adult children of alcoholics or otherwise, you know when you're dealing with a toxic child in an adult body. So there's something here for you to kind of let go of, to detox from, and your seeking might very well be benefited by that. While I have this deck in my hand, I'm going to clarify now this card of strength that Zeus has given us. My masters, please clarify this strength card for this Sagittarian collective, Sun, Moon, Rising sign, this full moon to new moon next. What do they need to know with this strength? You got the card of grace. Really? This letting go card isn't even a womp-womp card. It's, if you can see on the bottom of the suit, it's in the healing suit of this deck. This is pretty golden so far. So with the card of grace here, that the strength really is beyond this world. This is really a spiritual thing. And let's face it, Sagittarians, your ninth house, spirituality, right? Expansion. And good luck and all of that too. But like for me, ninth house is the card of spirit, is the house of spirituality. Now, by the way, I wrote a whole book called Words of Grace from a Professional Witch. It's on my website. Go check it out. That book saved my life because my life was being destroyed, and I literally lived on grace throughout the whole process, and got to work with my editor, Jill Schweitzer, who is just a Scorpio gem on earth. She's been worth all of it, and we're working on The Path of True Love, the next book. She's in edits while I'm doing these YouTubes. So that's all laid out in grace. Grace is a mystical substance. It's sort of like, imagine the white light broken down into all of its different colors. So there's the grace of humility, the grace of hope, the grace of endurance, the grace of reverence, the grace of healing. Read Caroline Myss's, oh my God, Defy Gravity. Defy Gravity, but really just put the word grace and Caroline Myss, M-Y-S-S, in there. Again, I'm giving you Google searches to do because Alexandrian Library in your pocket. Is that the Alexandrian Library in your pocket? I won't. So what do we need here? We need an angel card here. So we're going to clarify again this strength card, that now we've really got the hand of God here, the hand of the gods, well, the hand of the masters in this case, with this card of grace. So my angels, no, don't just jump out. Yes, it was a very Sagittarian word you just showed me, but send it around again. My angels, please. One card of clarity for the Sagittarian collective. Sun, moon, rising sign, this full moon, new moon next, to clarify this card of strength and grace, which feels, now that I tune to it, magnificent. What do they need? Through friendship. So you're not on this journey alone, but this is not a sexual journey necessarily. When you start studying Tantra, you might want to bring a friend along to those lectures. Same way to Carnegie Hall. Practice, practice, practice. But really, this is so lovely, that this strength with friendship, right? That this is what's going to help this kid feel very, 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 very safe. And that you've got grace sort of paving the way. This is a very highly spiritual waning moon for you all. But do you know that as you learn things, this child may be detoxing. You might be throwing off some emotional baggage. Look, we are all going through upgrades and downloads. I heard somebody say that's a really good way to say it, because every time we download new spiritual vibration, energy, or whatever, our cells start to shake faster, right? We're vibrating faster, and it's gotta cast off the third dimensional patternings, right? And that has to go through the fourth dimension of the heart, the third eye, and the crown. It can be, look, spiritual awakening. Doesn't it sound pretty? So nice on paper. There's a lot of detox that goes on with that. It is like being struck by lightning, and you can't go back. So that child really does need to feel safe. You can say, look, honey, this is an adventure. This is a journey we're going on. We don't know how it's going to end, but I'm here, right? Little by little. Because, you know, when a child is terrified, it doesn't matter. You can bring them to Disneyland, Disney World. If they're terrified, they're going to cower and hide, right? So this is bigger than an amusement park. Whatever it is that you are seeking, it feels like you're going to find, but you got to go in there knowing that this is a friendly process, not an adversarial one. But still, to protect yourself, we can all be sold snake oil when we're not quite congruent, right? So while I have these angels in my hands, listen, naughty. I just love this card. Look, the dude's like clipping hedges when he's not supposed to. Like, that's not my idea of naughty personally. I have to clip hedges outside this week anyway. It's just either been pouring rain or boiling hot. So it's like, oh, you're so naughty. It's very Edward Scissorhands without permission. So my angels, please, while I have you here, will you please clarify for this Sagittarius collective sun, moon, rising sign, what's this naughtiness about? Because they need some naughty. I get it. Naughty is not keying somebody's car. That's criminal. We're talking about, you know, very Sagittarian, very Zeus. I mean, come on. I'm not going to say who's naughtier, Zeus or Dionysus, because Hermes is in that running too. But, you know, Zeus was naughty, but he's king. It's good to be the king. Mel Brooks. So please, my angels, clarify that for this Sagittarian sun, moon, rising sign, clarify this naughty in terms of what they need. interesting forgiveness. Okay, now here's the funny thing about forgiveness. I work with a lot of pagans, and the F word is not necessarily in their vernacular in that sense. It's really hard for people who perhaps were raised by certain religious traditions with some not so great definitions of forgiveness. I was told, be the bigger person. I was like, I'm 5. I want to be the bigger person, right? So it doesn't mean it's okay. Maybe that's something for you to seek, because, you know, does naughtiness really need to be forgiven? Sorry, wrong card. Does the seeker, this naughtiness and forgiveness is just an interesting combo there to have. I don't know that being naughty necessarily needs to be forgiven, although I do remember as a child that word being very shaming. You know, not just bad, you're naughty. I mean, you don't use that context with adults unless you're talking that sort of fun vibe. And this is a luck card. This is not a problem card, right? This is the feeling I get here is a fun one. So maybe you can seek and find some means of forgiveness. I mean, I do it through A Course in Miracles. I literally have my copy of A Course in Miracles. See that little blue book right behind me? That's like really hard work. I mean, if you're going to foray into the Course in Miracles, then that child is the child of God, which we all are. Underneath it all, we are all God in form, right? That's unity consciousness. If that's what you're shooting for here, then the letting go of those emotions, the emotional baggage, right? Mothering yourself, the divine feminine in that sense, with friends along the way, given to you in grace to help you call upon a love and a strength beyond this world, then this is a forgiveness journey that can actually speed up your process and might make you feel like, oh my God, I'm forgiving things that would have taken me 30 years in therapy, but I can feel and you'll know by the emotional release that, you know, all of the emotional, I call it emotional exorcism, that I've been doing for the past 3 years or so, as hard as it is in the moment, the relief afterwards, it's when I've had some of my greatest moments of bliss and intimate union with the divine, where every breath is a blessing. A blessing. Sounds like I have a lisp. Don't. Oh, so thank you, my angels, my gods. Last card down. This is really good, Sagittarius. I'm happy for you all. I have a handful of Sagittarians in my life, just because they're so damn busy. But all of them are just fun. Like, I only have fun Saggies in my life. That's how it rolls. So, Zeus, please, you get the final word, my king, my all-father, my teacher. Please, one card to clarify this naughtiness. No wonder you wanted me to save you for last. With forgiveness here for this Sagittarius collective. Sun, moon, rising sign for this full moon to new moon next. What do they need? You got the card of victory. Oh my God. You know, I hear other readers squeal on YouTube. Now I get why they do it when you get a reading like this. 7 of Flames. Now you might be thinking victory in the traditional Rider-Waite Tarot is 6 of Wands. This would be the 7 of Wands. But that's what I love about a reinterpretation of Tarot. That they're actually, if you look at the horses, very fire signy here. They're actually galloping on cooling lava. I know you can't really see it in the card just because of the color, but what they're galloping on is just a thin crust of lava. So forward movement, momentum. They've got these flames in their hands. They're very active. That they're so much fun here that if I were to just put this in one great big, you know, statement, I'd say what you need is to seek and have fun. You know, they're reminding me, my parents, Zeus and Hera, I mean the physical embodiments, I call them that because I don't say their names, you know, on camera that often. They've gone back to school. They live up in Saratoga and they're going to different colleges. My mom had her first class on the I Ching. My mother is studying the I Ching and learning the divination side of it. I'm like, it's a little weird for me, but she was a teacher. I'm like, what does it feel like? She's like, I love it. I love to learn, right? So again, doesn't have to be the I Ching, right? Doesn't have to be anything spiritual, because why? I'm tuning to an entire collective of people through the quantum grid of this all. It just feels like there's going to be a forgiveness that comes out of this, and it might come in sort of a naughty way, perhaps where you get to a place where you look over your shoulder and you go, oh my God, all that I went through got me to this place, perhaps of enlightenment, but definitely a releasing in that waning part of letting go of emotional baggage, guilt, shame, blame, whatever that is, because you see it from a higher place. You see it from a more expansive, spiritual, 9th house Sagittarius place. I'm going to need a cigarette after this one. This was really, really good, Sagittarians. And I mean, I'll give you the blessing anyway, because I've been giving all y'all the blessing. But may the Sagittarius collective sun, moon, rising sign be blessed with all that they need this full moon to new moon next, that they seek with this innocence of the child, with the emotional Cancerian mother process of letting go of that which no longer serves, to love what rises, that they find the strength that they need to really be friendly on this process, to make friends, all with the hand of grace flowing through every moment. May they be blessed with grace. May we all be blessed with grace this full moon to new moon next, where this naughtiness and forgiveness somehow balances itself out with great victory. And that most of all, the Sagittarians are given the grace to listen with their heart, not just to their heart, with their heart, that they may find what they seek for their soul. Thank you. And thank you. And blessed, blessed be my Sagittarian collective sun, moon, risings. May you have a really, really good one. It looks like you're going to. Now at least you have an idea what you need. Oh, it's going to be so much fun. But for now, please like and subscribe. Building my channel bit by bit. Every click helps. Please comment. Do you have any questions? Look, when people comment, I reply back as soon as possible. So if you'll do that for me, I'm going to wish you, as I always do, hail, farewell, and blessed, 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 blessed be.